The babies on. Oh, okay. The babies. I actually have babies that have cystic fibrosis that we diagnosed right at birth because of genetic testing. And I have babies that I was simply just, we can't really do any more antibiotics for ear infections and sinus infection, daycare, they're full of snot all the time and they're just eczema covered. I'm like, okay, we clearly have inflammation in the body as a baby. If you have that much inflammation as a baby, it's not boding well as an adult. So I do use the capsules, and you can start with just half a capsule in their bottle, or you can put half a capsule in their food. And you can do, babies don't know what tastes like, so when they're little and we put like bananas with broccoli and like something I would never eat for dinner, because like you just don't eat that. But babies don't know, they have no idea. They have no idea if what's anything's supposed to taste like, so you can just sprinkle. I have moms that are like, they won't do, because if you take a whole capsule and you put it in a baby bottle, it turns the whole thing green and disgusting, let's be honest. But I'm like, just sprinkle in their food. And then over time, with a little sprinkle, you take the rest of the capsule, just sprinkle it on the babies. Then over time, they had their little taste of Juice Plus, and then I transition them as soon as it's not a choking hazard. Great success. I'll tell you that my families that are doing this I have them doing it for constipation. Specifically, they will buy into for constipation because it regulates them so amazingly. They do it for constipation. They're like, do you know what? I don't take my allergy medicines anymore. I'm like, and they're like, and I also have, the other one has not even used their asthma meds, so we don't need refills. And I'm like, and they're like, my kids are doing so well. We started taking it. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, ma'am.
I've got a friend who's pregnant.
Yes.
Baby's not wonderful.
Oh.
Could she start using Juice Plus?
Absolutely. So the beauty about babies and children is they grow constantly. As we talk about the brain doesn't mature until 30, so you can actually change attention and focus, like the ADHD stuff. So a kid that's completely out of his mind at 5 years old, you do some dietary changes, you add Juice Plus, you can change a hyperactive and little crazy self, and I can only say that because I gave birth to one of them, okay, so one that was like that, and you can actually change their brain. The more nutrition you give, the more their brain will start actually making correct connections. Same thing for babies in utero. So their brains are going to grow for 30 years. So we're just starting in the belly. You're just starting. So I mean, I'm not saying this changes like your congenital heart disease. If your heart is on the left, that's not going to make it on the right. But it can certainly help with, you have poor lung development. In smokers, they gave smokers this. Juice Plus. The old smokers whose lungs are not going to change in any way, they've been smoking like 70 pack years, and they did a pulmonary function test. They put them on this stuff for 6 weeks, they let them smoke, and then they did a pulmonary function test again and showed clinically significant improvement in their lung volume in old smokers. So if we're doing it for babies who have lung disease in their mom's belly, I mean, only fabulousness can happen. So I would, it does not have B12. So the mama's got to take B12 because for spinal cord development. It does not have vitamin D. Vitamin D also amazing for anti-inflammatory properties. So you have to take a vitamin D with it, and a B12, and iron for pregnancy, not high in iron.
And I'd just like to say too that my eldest daughter, her baby's 3 months old today, and so she was on Juice Plus for that entire time she was pregnant, and I was over there in September and I had bronchitis, and I was with baby, and worried about baby getting sick, and a friend of mine was also there with a cold, and baby didn't get sick, she's healthy as, and also just going back to doubling up, I doubled up. Last year I had bronchitis twice and had to go on 3 lots of antibiotics. The first lot didn't work, so I had to have another course. Then I got bronchitis again, more antibiotics. This time I didn't have to have antibiotics. So it's a twofold thing, because baby didn't get sick, because she was only 2 months old at the time. And I was really worried, but it was like I planned the trip, wasn't not going to go anyway, so I was grateful that she didn't get sick. And I have irritable bowel syndrome. Since being on Juice Plus, I don't have irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah, and so the question with the kids on solids, we don't wanna start this product early than 4 months, because we've shown that less than 4 months can increase food allergies if we start them early, so I would not start them earlier than 4 months. So when you start solids at 4 months, that's when I would start it. And again, the other question that a lot of times comes is, but I use the American Academy of Pediatrics and the World Health Organization recommend exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months, no solid food introduction. When we have done that, we have missed the window for the kids actually tasting the foods, and we've made a lot of picky eaters, because the time that the children start actually accepting foods in their oral motor phase is between 4 and 6 months. And 2 teaspoons of peas are not going to overtake your breastfeeding in any way, shape, or form. It's just, again, oral tolerance. You're doing a little bit of peas, a little bit of Juice Plus, and you move on a little bit every day. And at 6 months, you could increase their food to 3 times a day. And it's not, and then if breastfeeding starts decreasing a little bit at 6 months, it's really no big deal, because you made it to 6 months. But once a day feeding at 4 months is not interfering with the nursing. For bowels, it is fruits and veggies. So for my constipated folks, it helps them regulate, because it's got fiber in it. And it also, but not too much fiber, and that's why you want to take it, right? And that's why if you have sensitive belly, and I'll tell you, my mom has the most sensitive belly, and she's like, I'm not taking this. Like, that's stupid. And I'm like, I'm fine. And she had bronchitis a million times. She's like, how come you never get sick? I'm like, because I take Juice Plus. And she's like, fine. But I have a really sensitive stomach. And she started the process that I discussed, and she is now selling my sister on it. She's like, your sisters kids need to be on this. They're disgusting. And I'm like, I don't know. And then the ADHD stuff. So there's a fabulous neurologist, and I saw 2 people forward one of the TED Talks, and this neurologist's name escapes me every single time. You'd think I remember by now. She has multiple sclerosis, and she does an amazing TED Talk in 10 minutes on why fruits and veggies have helped her to neurologically correct a lot of the issues with multiple sclerosis. And she's come off, she was bedridden in a wheelchair. And she was like, so I changed my diet to fruits and veggies, seaweed once a week, fish, and she goes through the whole anti-inflammatory diet. And she was able to get rid of medicines and become mobile again.
Like it seems to actually regrow the myelin around the nerve end.
Right, right. And so for our kids, so one of the things kind of like what you're alluding to in how it cleanses your body, because everyone's like, well, how does that do? So our cells, when our growing brains, because when kids' brains are growing, the brain cells grow, and all our cells grow and die every day. When the cells die, they make what's called free radicals, which is trash, and so they stay in your body, and if it's not cleared out, it starts causing problems like acne, and your hair's not great, and you're tired all the time. So fruits and veggies grab the free radicals, and they help you flush it out of the body. That's why they're always talking about these juice cleanses. By the way, garbage, never do them. But, so if you're gonna drink like actual fresh squeezed juice at your house that you're making, fabulous addition, and it counts as fruits and veggies. Processed ones from the store do not count as fruit and veggies, they're just sugar. But when you are eating fruits and veggies, it removes that oxidative stress, so your cells regrow and change beautifully every day. For ADHD kids, the more we feed their brain with fruits and vegetables and good and healthy fats and proteins, the more they're going to make better connections. They're going to decrease their hyperactiveness. Their focus does get better. I'm not saying they're perfect, but with each year that they're on it, the less likelihood you are to either go on meds or go up on meds, or higher likelihood to come off meds. Because the brain is not done growing at 5. The brain's done growing at 30. So I'm always like, what are we doing here, people? Can we get rid of the soda? And could we can we change, we can change a lifelong problem.
So your son that was on who's ADHD,
Yeah, he had it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
how long, when taking the juice plus, did he come off the other meds?
He actually was, so his psychologist, because we had issues, so his psychologist was like, do you want us to test him for ADHD? Because I'm sensing that. I'm like, no, we know he has that. We are very certain he has that. But we didn't put him on meds because he was on grade level. And you may say, oh, but if he was on meds, he'd have been above grade level. Yeah, well, I don't care. He was on grade level, and he was managing for us not to kill him daily by some miracle. And he had been on it, I would say kindergarten, he was, And then by fifth grade, his fifth grade teacher pointed out to me, she's like, this is not the same kid that you're telling me was in kindergarten. Because every teacher conference, I'm like, I'm Jake's mom. I'm here. What did he do? And she was like, what? He's amazing. He's fabulous. He like interacts with everyone and he does his work and I'm like, I'm sorry. That sounds like a great kid, but I'm Jake's mom. Like the one that probably is like, falling out of his chair and is under the chair and she was like, I don't know who you're talking about. And we were discussing and she somehow got on the nutrition topic and I got on my soapbox and then she was like, what do you think everything you've done, all this nutrition stuff has helped him from becoming insane, he was insane, to now through middle school, I don't look at his work. He does all his work. He's in charge of all his projects. We still have, obvious, nothing's perfect. But I mean, from the kid that he was, that couldn't even sit down to read, when he would read, he would be like this. And he's like, hey. I mean, like reading my husband would be like, rock, paper, scissors. Who's going in tonight? It's awful. Anyway, but it took years. It wasn't overnight. It took years.
I can say I was diagnosed with adult ADHD at age 29 and put on Ritalin, and since being on Juice Plus in February, I decided to try coming off my medication, and I'm medication free and managing a lot better, so I can add to that.
And how was the coming off process?
It was okay. I went cold turkey. It probably would have been my desired way to do it, but I was on a sustained release tablet, so I only took it once a day, and it hasn't been too bad at all. Like, I notice I still obviously have issues, like I have moments, little moments, but they are just little moments and they do pass, so I would never consider going back on medication at this point.
That's awesome.
So as a clinician, Anna, have you ever seen it not work?
That didn't do anything. Well, I have folks that are non-compliant, and again, the studies don't show that it works 100%. It's not for 100%. I'm always like, you know what? You've got to give it a 6-week trial, because all the trials in the clinical, most of the trials in the clinical studies are 4 to 6 weeks, and so it shows that there's an effect within 4 to 6 weeks. Again, sometimes if you start in the summer, but your horrible season is winter, it's really hard to tell until you actually challenge the body. So I have folks that have given up early. I have folks that were not compliant with it. And the longer you take it, the better it works. So, year one, you may still have, your ADD medicine is lower. You have still asthma, but you're not using steroids, but you still need your daily Flovin. You have constipation and you need to use coconut oil. But then with every month and every season, you see it getting better and better. So like my son, the allergy kid, who was on 5 meds, the first season a year into it, he was only on 3 meds. And then the year after that, he was on 2 meds. And the year after that, it was 1 med. And then now I'm non-compliant with his allergy medicines. But, so it is a process, and in America, I'm only speaking about Americans, they want a quick fix, they want it immediate. If they don't see change within 2 weeks, this is garbage, I'm gonna spend money on it, and I'm done. For the folks that put time into it, they are totally on board, and they're like, this actually has made a big difference. But my biggest failures have been from folks that are like, yeah, we can't, it's cost too much. And then I was like, oh good, well let's add up your asthma meds. And in the United States you pay to see the doctor. And I was like, how about we add up your doctor bills? Because I've seen you every week for the past 4 weeks. Every week. And they're like, right, that's a good point. I'm like, would you like me to do that math? They're like, no, please don't do that. So yes, it is an investment. Yes, you put it, but I will say I pay for this and I don't pay for antibiotics, and I don't have missed days of work, and I don't have missed days of school. If my kids got the flu, my kids get the flu shot, but they did get the flu. I don't treat them with ibuprofen or medicines, and they got over it in 24 hours. And my friends' kids that are 100 plus that had the flu, and I was on the phone, I'm like, do not touch the Tylenol. And they, were able to, with good nutrition, their body was able to fight it. And then we did my alternative approaches, and also.
And so for those of you who don't know, Tylenol is the same as paracetamol.
Sorry, Panadol, sorry.
Okay, no,
Thank you.
you got experience with, I've got a 10-year-old who's got reasonable serious mood swings.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Have you got any stories?
Mhm.
Stories on that?
I do. So you know what? I had so I have that mood swing. Are you kidding me? With teenagers, like my population is all teenagers with mood swings. So we have a lot of mood swings, and we sit down and we go through a diet. Like we sit and kind of break down the diet and where some of the issues are. Sometimes is going to be your low blood sugar. So with breakfast, if you're a cereal eater, even though and with skim milk, so again, it's the United States. Skim milk and cereal is a common breakfast. Well, your blood sugar is going to drop by 9:30. When your blood sugar drops, you're going to be crabissimo, and then you're going to have a granola bar or a fruit bar, as again, U.S., which then that makes them brings their sugar up for 30 minutes, makes them a little happy, and boom, they crash. So then now they're crabby again. At lunch, depending on what the lunch is, a lot of times it's a very carb heavy. Not your child, just. A lot of times that's why I go very detailed in what their diet is like. Because if the lunch is crackers and goldfish, a juice, applesauce, and well, that's going to be all carbs, which means that they're going to be happy for 30 minutes and then they crash again. By the time they get home, they're so hungry and annoyed, and then they go right for the quick carbs. So if we start adding protein at all the meals, we add, and I said when I add fruits to my patients, I'm like, start with 3 grapes in the morning and a cube of cheese. And if you want to have your cereal, go have your cereal, but we got to do small changes. You can't be like, oh, here's your fruit tray and your eggs with your sliced avocado and your whole grain bread. Okay, we've been on this for 8 years, so now I can do this at my house, but I couldn't do that initially. It started out with literally, here's 2 blueberries next to your garbage cereal. How's that going? And then I started with protein shakes that over time, my protein shakes were started out with, I'm not kidding, vanilla ice cream. That was like 4 ingredient vanilla ice cream, strawberries, and milk. And they were like, this is amazing. We loved it. And after about a couple weeks of it, because I was like, well, that's better than the garbage you're eating. Then I took the vanilla, then I would decrease how much ice cream, and I added vanilla full fat yogurt in it. So the ice cream went away and the yogurt came in. And then I would throw in leaves of spinach. I would do 1 leaf of spinach, see if it turned, as long as it's pink. Because then I added more and more, and then it went green. And I'm like, too much spinach. So anyway, but a lot back to your question, because I'm all over the place, is that kind of going fine-tuning through the diet and kind of discussing where fruits and veggies, and again, so maybe, throw that in with some protein. Yes, that can help mood swings. It's not going to be 100%, nothing is, but it will
help.
help.
On protein actually, because we're eating very healthy, but actually thinking about maybe not so much protein.
When you sit down and you actually, I will tell you that my folks that have gone through, that are like, we're in this to win it, what do we need to do? And they've seen the nutritionist, dietitian, etc. The most helpful thing was journaling for like 4 days. And just kind of writing down what the breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner, a lot of foods become, I call them the blind spot foods. You go to warehouse here, Target in the United States, but in order to shop to the warehouse and the kids are screaming, you give them goldfish, like pretzels or whatever little handy snack. And then when you're driving a carpool, the one kid's screaming, the other one wants to punch his brother in the face, the other one is touching you, like balls are coming at you, so you give them snacks because if they're eating, they're happy. But that doesn't register in the food. When you sit and you recall, you're like, oh, they eat amazing, they just eat 3 meals a day. But when you sit down and journal, you're like, yeah, when we're waiting wherever, they have a, granola bar. When they say, right, there's that. When you write it down, a lot of stuff becomes very obvious.
Can the kids have the Just Plus Complete things as well?
They can totally have this.
Yeah.
My kids don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, they can totally have
You
this.
don't hide it in your smoothies?
No, I don't. You know what? Because my smoothie, and I do have a blog that actually you can sit and look at the actual smoothie recipes, how I started from my 3 ingredients and what I have in them. But now it's like I have protein powder, like a clean protein powder. I have fruits, I have veggies, I have flaxseed powder, I have acai berry powder. I have avocado in there. They have no idea. Yeah, and I have one that's like fighting me back because it doesn't like the specific protein powder of New Zealand. Tough noogies. Some days I'm like this with a spoon. I'm like, you will drink this.
So in New Zealand recently, a lot of fuss was made about a documentary being made by Jamie Oliver about the food served in American schools.
Yeah, he got kicked out of the U.S.
Yeah,
He got kicked out of the U.S. Yeah.
So when you're looking to feed your children outside of that paradigm, how do you, I mean...
They don't eat school food.
They just don't.
Oh, God, no.
Right. So that's an option that students can...
Oh, they have, yeah, so the school foods, so in the U.S., because we're really, we're forward-thinking in some ways and like quite horrible in other ways, and I love the U.S., and I love it, but in the world of nutrition, we're still on that tomato sauce on the pizza is a vegetable. Really, yeah, so, yeah. And they're also in the way to lose weight, you need fat-free and low-fat. I am not kidding. I have pulled up, when I pull up the US, the FDA regulations, their recommendations regularly, and I'm like blacking out all this stuff. They're like low-fat milk. I'm like, no. They're like, oh, is it a, drink juice for your fruit serving? I'm like, so the food in the schools, they are making an effort. However, the schools get money from the food industry. And so they are paid based on how much food they allow in the school. They will have vending machines that they make money off of that have soda in them. They have vending machines with all kinds of garbage.
I think a lot of schools are taking the vending machines out, aren't they? In New Zealand.
New Zealand. They're working that in the US.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
quite fortunate, I think, that we're a little bit ahead there.
Yeah.
But still, we have a long way.
We're doing better. They've added more vegetables. Now they're making it mandatory for the kid to actually grab green beans and to grab the orange when they go through the cafeteria line. Most of my parents that I talk to, the reason that the kids eat school lunch is because it's easy. And in the U.S., we also have this, I don't think I've looked and I didn't see it. It's Lunchables. Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard the term. But
May never reach New Zealand. So it is this process. It has 162 ingredients in this thing, and it looks like crackers and cheese and salami and juice and Oreos. And it looks like it's actually ham and cheese and crackers until you flip it over and you don't understand any of the ingredients. So, but you don't have that here.
Sounds like a good.
So we're good yet. If you see it coming, let me know.
Awesome. So,
All right.
any more questions on there?
So I'm going to be practicing, I think I'm going to be practicing. I do have a clinic schedule in place and I do have a call schedule in place. I just don't have my visa. But that's a little challenging. But I am going to be in Kapiti once a month, and I'm going to be in Wellington every Friday, and somewhere else every other Wednesday.
Can you explain, give a little background for your talks that you're going to start on your...
Oh, my teen health thing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm starting in the US because I don't really know anybody here except you lovely ladies. So I'm starting in the US, and then I'm happy to send in Zoom links to you guys so you can look at it. The first one is heavy promotion of my Juice Plus because I'm like, well, that's really the funding that I'm going to need in order to kind of get this going. But so Monday mornings, and we're going to change the time. So if we're doing it in New Zealand, it's obviously going to be different times. But we're doing exam and immune system because that's what I'm seeing the most in November and December in the United States. And what I'm thinking the following talk is going to be on cravings because it's Christmas season and that seems a big topic amongst the teen community. So this is a teen-driven topics, but the answers are applicable to everyone. It's not, but they're going to come up. We're not going to be doing breastfeeding, and we're not going to be doing pregnancy, hopefully. And so we want to do, but fatigue and stress and acne and hair and focus and tiredness and all that stuff. So we're going to try the one on Monday. We're going to begin the one on Monday here, see what the response is, and then if you have teenagers that want to link in, we can do one for New Zealand.
Well, at this stage, I think there's a lot of teenagers not in school anymore because their school year has finished.
Right.
So, we can promote it through
To the parents, but if the parents of teenagers,
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Because
the boys are not going to tune in, let's be honest.
No, the boys won't.
They're not
because
gonna tune in.
No,
It's
but
fine.
the parents might. I mean, who knows? So why
Right,
not?
the parents can do it, and it's gonna be like, all right, because there's many tricks to the trade. I mean, boys, they don't care as long as they don't have to make it, cook it, bake it. As long as it's they will eat it. So I think that's.
So is there a website or
Oh,
for your talks?
so it is. It's so actually you can see one of my talks is that I gave to the schools in the U.S. and I was going to give the talks here at my kids' school, except my kids' school, they all bring sandwiches with a side of fruit and water, and I was like, well, that's sweet, but I can't use my talk here. And then I was like, does anybody have Gatorade? And my kids were like, yeah, they use the Gatorade bottles to put their water in it, and I'm like, that's amazing, but I can't do my talk here. So it is MC2 Charlotte.
MC.
To charlotte.com, and on it there's recipes and there's wellness tips, there's sleep, there's activity, there's fitness videos that I torture my children into doing, and if you sign up for the blog, it pops into your inbox whenever a blog is posted, so you don't be like, oh, I missed it on Facebook, or it's hot commodity, you just don't know why. I have 96 followers.
Awesome. We're going to end here.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Perfect.
No, just go away. So thank you guys. We're going to finish here and